Why does God allow pain? Helping emotionally exhausted men rebuild their identity. Our goal here on this podcast is to reach, teach, and mentor men back to their identity. Let me ask every single man listening to me right now, have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like, well, you just felt like you didn't recognize yourself anymore? I'm not talking about physically, I'm talking about internally. You're tired, you're emotionally drained, you're just mentally exhausted. You're going through the motions, just trying to carry all the responsibilities, and you're trying to hold everything together at the same time. But way down deep, something feels broken. And maybe you've asked yourself, God, why am I going through this? Why does life hurt this much? Why do I feel so lost? Well, today we're going to talk about one of the biggest questions people have asked on Google. And it's simply, why does God allow pain? But I want to speak directly to the emotionally exhausted men. Men who are trying to rebuild their identity after a major disappointment, after some heavy pressure, after some betrayal and failure and rejection, and after your silent battles that, well, that nobody else sees. I want you to hear me carefully. Pain does not mean God abandoned you. How do I know that? Because Psalms 34:18 says, the Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart. Did you catch that? God gets close to broken people, not fake people, not prideful people, broken people. And many men today, you're broken, and you're broken silently. Society tells men, don't talk, don't cry, handle it yourself, stay out of everybody else's business. So men bury pain instead of healing from it. But buried pain changes a man. What does it change? Well, it affects his thinking. It affects his peace. Peace is order, so it affects your order. It affects your relationships. It affects your leadership, whether at home or in the workplace. It affects your confidence. And eventually, it affects your identity. Some men become angry. Some go in isolation. Some emotionally shut down completely. And some men, well, you just lose your motivation altogether. And some men just completely stop dreaming again. Not because they're weak, because they're exhausted. We can look in the Bible and even see Elijah in the Bible became emotionally exhausted. Yeah, this was the same man who called fire down from heaven. Yet later, he sat under a tree just asking God, let me die. Think about that for a moment. A powerful man of God, emotionally drained. Why? Because pressure affects people. Deep pain affects people. But here's what many men do not understand. And I need you to pay attention right now and listen. Because God often uses pain to expose what needs healing. Because pain reveals things, well, that comfort hides. I'm talking about wrong relationships you might be in right now. God needs you to change people, places, and things in your life. How about some wrong thinking, some wrong priorities, some unhealed wounds that you're just allowing to fester? David said in Psalms 119:71, "It is good for me that I have been afflicted." When we read that, we go, what? What did he just say? It's good for me to be what? Afflicted? And he goes on to say that I might learn thy statutes. Why is that? Why did he say something like that? Because David understood something. Pain taught him something valuable. Now listen carefully right now. I want you to get this. God is not cruel. Lamentations chapter 3, verse 33 says it this way: He doth not afflict willingly. God is not enjoying human suffering, but he does know how to use painful season to shape a man's character and rebuild his identity. Because a man's identity, well, it cannot be built on money. It can't be built on any kind of success or relationships or muscles or other people's approval, because all of those things can disappear. Real identity, well, it must be rooted in God. Romans chapter 12, verse number 2 says it this way: Be transformed. How? By the renewing of your mind. Renewing of your mind is a transformation. And transformation starts right here in your mind. Can I tell you that most emotionally exhausted men are trying to change their life without renewing their thinking? It can't be done. That's what trying to fix a cracked wall while the foundation underneath is collapsing. You can't fix the cracks fast enough. And what happens? Eventually everything just completely falls apart. But I've come to tell somebody right now, God still rebuilds men. Look at Peter. He failed. Look at Moses. He struggled. Look at David. He fell. Look at Elijah. He became exhausted. But yet God still used them after they failed. Did you catch that? Because God is not looking for perfect men. He's looking for surrendered men. Men that will say, Lord, heal what's broken. Lord, renew my mind. Lord, show me who I really am. And maybe some of you listening right now, you feel buried by all of life's things that are happening. But maybe you're not being buried. Maybe you're just being planted. See, my friend, the seed has to go underground before growth happens. And some of the deepest growth that God does in a man happens, and I want you to get this, it happens during painful, painful seasons. Because pain has this way of stripping away pride and stripping away these false identities that we try to have people see and look at. And it peels away all this self-dependence. And sometimes, before God can rebuild a man publicly, he always, I want you to get this, rebuilds him privately. Jesus tells us in Matthew chapter 11, verse 28, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." This verse is for emotionally exhausted men, men tired of pretending, tired of carrying pressure alone. You're tired of feeling just disconnected from purpose. Hear me carefully. Pain may explain part of your story, but oh, my friend, it does not have to define your future. Because I'm here to tell you right now that God still heals, God still restores, and God still rebuilds men. This message has helped you today. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with another man who may need to hear what you just heard. And never forget, my friend, you matter to God. Why? Because He has a purpose for your life, and He's not done with you yet.